Voting is a civic duty. Let's register on the electoral list. This is a message from Equinoxe Television.
Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on yet the most recent accident occurred at about 1 a.m. on the night of April 9th and 10. At least 4 persons have died following a head-on collision between a 7-seater bus and a truck. Several others are currently hospitalized. What must be the exact cause of this accident? You'll be finding out in this edition of the news. And away from that, the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement (CBDM) party is currently facing internal pressure to hold a Congress before the 2025 presidential election. Some militants, including Leon Tile Onana, advocating for a leadership renewal as mandated by the party's internal rules and regulations. However, the party's hierarchy appears to be prioritizing other concerns. Meantime, the court hearing opposing Councillor Leon Tile Onana against the CBDM party has been adjourned. Those are top stories. The news in full in a jiffy. Thank you so much for choosing Equinoxe Television. For presentation, I am Immaculate Fogwe. Let's begin with this sad incident, as at least 4 people are reported dead after a 7-seater bus belonging to United Express Agency collided with a parked truck around Puma in the Senegal Maritime Division Central region of Cameroon. The accident occurred at about 1 a.m. on the night of April 9th and 10. Witnesses report that the driver of United Express bus, who was on his way to Douala, was riding on top speed. Several others were injured and are currently receiving treatment in different hospitals in that part of the country. We're bringing more details on this accident in our subsequent news editions. Now to something else. A police officer has been killed in Bamenda, which is a chieftain of the Northwest region. According to report, he was gunned down by suspected separatist fighters in Bamenda around hospital roundabout during a gun battle. We have greater details with Siri Chakutu.
I know there's no thing to happen, Daddy. I thought they didn't just take any man to take him.
Tension and fear grieved inhabitants of Bamenda, Northwest region of Cameroon. In these amateur videos, civilians seek refuge behind tables so as to protect themselves from the bullets flying from all sides.
You don't get BP.
A new attack by separatist fighters at the hospital runabout. An attack that claimed the life of 1 officer and injured several civilians. Still in Bamenda, in the Mankon neighborhood, an individual was shot dead by unknown individuals. Sources report that the man was arrested during a checkpoint, but he attempted to flee when uniformed men opened fire, fatally killing him. According to security sources, the man was a separatist fighter. The Northwest region and the city of Bamenda in particular vibrate to the rhythm of gunfire. Remember, several corpses were found littered across strategic places in Bamenda last week.
And we stay in the Northwest region of Cameroon, where natives of Fonta village, Eaters and Bafut, have sent distress calls to their elites and the government officials after heavy rainfall accompanied by hailstones destroyed crops and buildings in their village. Amongst the things destroyed by the hailstones is government primary school Fonta. Smajikan Gabriel reports.
The entire structure housing the government primary school of Fonta has been damaged, leaving the kids in a state of distress. The building was destroyed as a result of a heavy downpour of hailstones which the village experienced. For some inhabitants, the hailstones that fell for about 30 minutes was the heaviest they have ever experienced. It is the worst hailstones we've experienced here. It was about 2 p.m. when it showed as if it wanted to rain. but we discovered that it was heavy hailstones and it fell for more than 30 minutes.
Only hailstone, it only fall.
It was a very terrible thing we met, as Bishop School was all down, moving towards Bastos. The hailstones were just so many. Apart from the primary school that was brought down, some private homes were also touched. Food crops like plantains, maize, pear, plum were all destroyed by the hailstones. As we arrived beneath the primary school, plantains, beans, plums, cassava and pear have all been destroyed by the hailstones. We are now confused if we should keep planting or not. What surprised many inhabitants of Fonta village was that the hailstones caused a lot of destruction only in their village. It targeted just Fonta. It started at Bastos to the government primary school, then mile 10, 11, moving towards Bambui. The neighboring villages were not affected. The natives of Fonta are now calling on government intervention.
Over here in the city of Douala, inhabitants of the Bois de Senche neighborhood have again gone to the streets to protest against a planned demolition exercise in the neighborhood occupied by over 6,000 individuals. Denouncing the procedure, legitimacy and legality, the people say they are victims of a gang of land grabbers. The recent protest was provoked by the presence of individuals said to be agents of the Douala 2 Council. Femi Armstrong Sanda tells us more.
The new wave of protests from inhabitants of the Bois de Senche neighborhood in the Douala 2 municipality began when individuals posing as agents from the Douala 2 Council came to mark houses in the neighborhoods for demolition. In solidarity and determination, the men and women, young and old inhabitants of the neighborhood staged a resistance, denouncing fraud and manipulation from land grabbers.
We bought our places and it was water by then. We developed them with a lot of pain, with a lot of sorrow, and today we see somebody just came that he has land title on all the surface, and whom all those land title, how did he acquire it? He has put value into those places, into those places when we are saying no to his manipulation. So we are tired of it, of this injustice. And when injustice become a law, resistance become a duty. And I think I'm talking on behalf of all the people here in Bois de Senche. One for all for one.
Feeling cheated and suspecting fraud, they call on administrative authorities to intervene, questioning the authenticity of land title 1033 and 1034 in the neighborhood.
We are saying that all what has been done here is fake, and that's since some Cameroonians, they think that they have money and they have the power and the royalty to take other people and sat on them or swallow them. We are saying no, that as a Cameroonian, everyone have his own right. Not because you think you have everything at your position that you think you can take everyone and sat upon him. We are denying here, and we are crying through our leader to have justice.
The area in question hosts over 6,000 Cameroonians from across the 10 regions of the country, including internally displaced persons from the far north and the Anglophone regions.
Before one day for year, I run a war for Bamenda. I did for year, almost with 8 people there from us. My grandma did for year. My grandpa did for year. I don't struggle. Small money where I even get and where I run war with them for day. I don't can invest for year.
The protest was the second in less than 2 weeks staged by the herbless population. Beyond the recurrent land scandals in the country, observers a repeat of the Dikolo land incident in Bali in the Douala 1 municipality.
Elements of the Douala 3 gendarmerie company have successfully dismantled a well-organized crime group in the Pega 14 neighborhood of Douala. The group was involved in hacking people's phones and withdrawing their money. One of the suspects revealed that he had accomplices within the mobile telephone network company who helped him carry out the hacking and money withdrawal operation. Malaglari tells us more about their modus operandi. Her report.
Following numerous complaints from victims who have lost over millions of francs CFA to these hackers, elements of the Douala 3 gendarmerie company launched investigations.
Immédiatement, nous avons procédé.
Investigations, he says, led them to Peka tolls, where a young man was arrested. A search was the security elements discovered about 10 computers, telephones, chargers, and about 50 SIM cards.
Dernière génération, une cinquantaine de puces, une unité centrale.
According to the gendarme officers, the suspected individual was operating in collaboration with other accomplices on same platform without knowing each other. Explaining their modus operandi, the commander says,
Ils checkent à partir de leurs complices qui travaillent au sein des sociétés.
The suspect, together with their accomplice working in the mobile telephone network company, search your private information, collect your identity, and duplicate your number through an application known as MaxIt. Each time you have a transaction, they change your code and withdraw your money. Once it's done, they replace your original code while they share your money amongst them.
Ils remettent votre code en place.
The commander used the opportunity to call on the population to trust the security forces by calling the toll-free number in any suspected case.
De rappeler toujours notre numéro, le 113.
And they will immediately respond.
And on to other news. Will the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement CPDM party hold a congress before the 2025 presidential elections? Though some militants of the party have been asking for a leadership renewal as required by the internal rules and regulations, it seems not to be the priority of the party's hierarchy at the moment. Leon Tiele Onana is one of the militants of the CPDM party pressing for the holding of the Congress before the presidential election. Babla Jonathan tells us more.
Growing calls for the Congress of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement CPDM political party are rising to the sky as a militant, Leon Taylor Onana, takes legal action. Via a summons of summary proceedings, Leon Taylor Onana is requesting the Yaoundé Central Administrative Court of First Instance to appoint an ad hoc representative to convene a Congress. Though CPDM internal rules and regulations stipulate a Congress should hold every 5 years, it has not taken place since 2011. Leon Taylor Onana blames the CPDM leadership for failing to organize the Congress. This, he argues, is the reason for his court request to appoint a representative. Until now, party leaders have attributed the prolonged delay since the 2011 Congress to their political opponents, accusing them of attempting to destabilize the party just months before a presidential election. CPDM Secretary General Jean Kwete said party members know perfectly well that a Congress, whatever its nature, will inevitably be held when the time is right, in full respect of the party's rules and regulations. But Onana points to Article 27, Paragraph 3 of the CPDM internal rules and regulations, which stipulates that the party's national president, elected during a Congress, is its natural candidate for the presidential election. According to Onana, President Paul Biya's mandate must therefore be renewed through an urgent Congress before the official convening of the electorate for the forthcoming presidential election.
On the same vein, the court hearing opposing Councillor Leon Tiele Onana against the CPDM party has been adjourned to Thursday, the 17th of April 2025. According to his lawyer, Barrister Guy Leonard Kamga, the hearing was adjourned for the re-examination of the submission of both parties after the CPDM College of Lawyers questioned the competence of the Yaoundé Court of First Instance to handle the affair. Speaking to Equinoxe TV journalist Fomi Armstrong Sander on phone from Yaoundé, Barrister Guy Leonard Kamga says he presented valid evidence that Leon Tila Onana is a militant of the CPDM party. The appointment is thus taken for next week. Now we talk something else. Dr. Ernestine Guet-Bell presents an autobiographical work on in vitro fertilization. Dr. Ernestine Guet-Bell, founder of the Odyssey Polyclinic in Douala, has launched her autobiographical book That is a 170-page work focusing on in vitro fertilization, that is IVF. The book aims to highlight the possibilities of IVF in helping women with fertility issues become parents. Innocent Aze tells us more.
In Cameroon, just like in other African countries, couples with infertility problem get stigmatized, which can add to emotional burden of those seeking solution. However, in vitro fertilization has rekindled hope among women who had thought they would never be able to conceive.
The inspiration is, I would say, it was mostly through people like Professor René Freeman, who is one of the gynecologists who made it possible in France. And my mother was studying in France, so she actually met him throughout the year. So I would say René Freeman might be one of the biggest inspiration for her career in vitro fertilization.
Odyssey Polyclinic in Douala is a key center offering in vitro fertilization practiced in Cameroon since 1988.
Throughout the years, we increased the number of doctors, the number of specialists going to our clinic, and also we built a new building since 5 years ago, which is much more modern, much more important for the next few generations.
Odyssey Polyclinic has been instrumental in helping couples become parents through this medically assisted reproduction, with over 800 babies born through the procedure.
We can help actually couples with women who have better chance to have a baby. We can help mostly younger, I would say 30s.
Apart from cost challenge preventing poorer women or young girls with infertility problems from being taken care of adequately, Odyssey Polyclinic faces another major challenge.
If we help people who are totally almost impossible, it will cost a lot and will not have successful results.
Apart from her passion in delivery, Dr. Enesine Gwetbel was also motivated to specialize in vitro fertilization by the fact that most women like her in pursuance of a career tends to give birth late, risking their chances of fertility.
That's why there's a lot of increase throughout the whole world, which is actually a good and a bad thing, because we have to have women like my mother to have beautiful careers. So we need to help those who reach something like 40 or even earlier to have a baby.
In a press conference at Odyssey Polyclinic, Dr. Enesine Gwetbel presented her autobiographical work of 170 pages on in vitro fertilization with a summary of the book presented by Equinoxe television journalist Julienne-Beth Bisai. The work aims to inspire the young generation in Cameroon and Africa, those practicing, and to instill hope for women with infertility problems. Several testimonies were made, and Dr. Enesine Gwetbel promised she and her team are ready to do better with all the experts and sophisticated equipment available at the Odyssey Polyclinic in Bonapriso, Douala. Dr. Enesine Gwetbel, along with a team of gynecologists and embryologists, practiced in the birth of the baby born by in vitro fertilization in Central Africa on April 14, 1998.
And that report done by Innocent Aze ends this first part of the news. Talking Point is up next. Thank you so much for staying with us. The city of Douala, just like many other cities in Cameroon, are currently suffocating. Suffocating why? Because of the heaps of garbage found along major streets and junction. Tonight, I'll be having Stephie. She is an environmental activist and she is the president of the Association of Ecologists Without Borders New Planet. Good evening, Stephie. It's a pleasure to have you on Talking Point tonight.
Hello, Immaculate. I'm really happy to be with you today for Talking Point.
Stephie, we are currently speaking live right here in the city of Douala. How does it feel like living in the city of Douala or many other cities in Cameroon at this moment when tons of waste are reportedly abandoned in major streets and junctions?
What I feel, I'm suffocating. I'm really suffocating. Like my eyes are suffocating, my nose is suffocating, even my mind is suffocating. As an activist in the environment protection, it's like there is something wrong. There is something wrong, and for me, it will never and never been normal. So every day I'm suffocating.
Apart from your personal point of view, how are the people in your neighborhood and other Cameroonians at large reacting to this same issue?
Cameroonians, as many things, are just accepting it like a doom. We cannot say that they are okay with it. We cannot say that they are really, they like it. But they are like what we used to say in French, on va faire comment. Like it's something they have to live with it. It's something they have to accept. And they are living with it, they are accepting it. You can see in many markets, people are even eating near those tons of waste. When you are just passing by, you cannot understand by the simple odor how people can live near those waste all the day, every day, because they have to work. They stay there, they eat there during something like 10 or 8 hours a day. So it's like many things in this country. We used to say to Cameroonians that they are resilient. They can accept even the worst. And with the situation and with those ways, we can say that we are approaching, or we are even into it. And they may not like it, but they are living with it, like everything in this country.
In your analysis, what are the major causes of poor waste disposal, and who exactly should get the lion's share of the blame? Is it ISACAM, the company in charge of the collecting this waste, the government, or let's say the population themselves? Who should be blamed? Who has the lion's share of the blame?
In a situation like that, we cannot blame one party. We cannot blame just the population or ISACAM or the government. We can say that there is a sharing in the responsibilities. Because in the beginning, ISACAM were doing great, a really great job. We could see them once or twice a week, and we could easily notice that there were no more waste on the street, no more waste everywhere. Now there is no more ISACAM on the neighborhood. Maybe we can see them on the main street. They come and take those waste on the road, but in the quarter there is no more. And some of them used to say that the government is not paying their bill, maybe. Now, the part of the government is that there is not in the central government a general politics for waste management. Some years ago, I used to speak with a city mayor for the waste management in a particular market in Douala, and he told me that the waste management is decided above them. They cannot just say this company or we are going to manage in our local area like we want, and so on. So if some other company than ISACAM decide to take the waste and come and collect it, there will be a problem. So there is, on the political aspect, there is something that is not going good. There is something that is not going good, and it's the responsibility of the government, because we can say that the problem is everywhere in Cameroon, in every cities, even in Boya and Bamenda or Limbe. When 10 years ago you could not see even a plastic on the street, today you can see a ton of waste. it means that it's all the country that is in the situation. So there is in the political aspect, something that is missing. Now, for the population, we can say that Cameroonians are living in what I used to call a collective irresponsibility. Like, somebody will just throw dirty on the street, throw plastic on the street, and if you draw their attention, they will say, Isakam is supposed to take it, or what is the government doing? The road is not good. The road is not good. We don't have electricity. Instead of just taking the responsibility to not throw it, they will do it saying that the government is not doing his job, so they don't have themselves to do their own job. We can then say that Isakam have his part of responsibility. The government is clear, is supposed to have the main part, is clear. Now the population has the other part of the responsibility.
Now, Stephie, some critics, or let's say observers, think that the government of Cameroon should have the lion's share of the blame. According to them, they are more focused on what, what they consider as trivial issues rather than taking care of a nation like Cameroon. And also the fact that many people now tend to embezzle billions of francs CFA. They consider that as being greedy, and they think much needs to be done by the government, not just for the big wigs, but also for the masses, the poor masses, of course. Before coming to that, how does poor waste disposal impact public health and environment?
For public health, we have spread of diseases with flies and mosquito when we are talking about cholera, malaria, dengue, and typhoid. We have air pollution with burning waste that releases toxic gases. We have contaminated water with waste dumped near water sources like rivers, lakes, and groundwater. We have soil contaminations for food and crops. Now, for environment, we have air pollution with methane from decomposing waste that contribute to global warming. We have water pollution. We have soil degradation. We have loss of biodiversity, and we have aesthetic and other issues.
As an environmental activist who is currently in Douala and seeing things for yourself, what innovations can be adopted to provide, let's say, lasting solutions to the problem of poor waste disposal in this country?
To address the problem, we can effectively adopt some innovations. We have waste sorting and recycling systems by introducing color-coded bins for separating plastics, organics, and metal, etc. We have waste-to-energy technologies by use biogas digesters. We have digital platforms for waste collection with SMS and applications that can be useful. We have circular economy and upcycling by promoting local businesses that turn waste into product like eco bricks. We have community education and youth engagement because we have to empower our young people to raise the awareness about the issue so that we can be sure for the next generation, the situation will be different. We have smart public bins and infrastructure that can lead to the installation of smart bins in urban areas that notify when they are full. All those innovation can be for those who are technological, can be applied and some startups are already working on it. All that we have to do is for the population to try to adapt to those possibilities.
MBOU Asia Stephie, environmental activist live in Douala, speaking to us. Thank you so much for your time. And that's what put a cap to today's edition of the 6 p.m. primetime discussed on Equinoxe Television. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for always choosing us. Have a wonderful evening. In the company of more interesting programs on Equinoxe Television, coming up next in some few minutes is the program Equinoxe with Serge Along Otu and his guest. From us to you over there, have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye for now.